This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 654 from May 4th, 2020. No Latin.
It's a dead language.
And I guess it's not a true boss.
Hey everyone, Boston here. Real quick note before the episode starts. Had a little bit of an audio issue here with the new RTX audio software. It seemed to have made me sound like a robot this week, which is not exactly what I was hoping for. Sadly, it's not, the fulfillment of my dream of finally turning into a robot, leaving my human husk aside. That maybe 2022. But as a result, all of my audio from even the backup sources all sounds wrong. A little bit hitchy there, here and there, a little bit of robot stuff. So that's going to persist throughout the entire episode. Apologies for this in advance. I'm hoping to have it fixed next week. So thank you so much and enjoy the episode. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Moonpier.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
We have a brand new show announcement here at the very top of the show. Moon and I have a problem.
Nope. You have a problem. I enable that problem.
That's fair.
He has a problem and you have a problem with saying no.
Yes.
Also true. So Moon and I are launching a new show called Critical Misses. The tagline here is all the hits we've missed. And it's basically, you can think of it sort of as a sister show to Old Dog New Flicks, where Moon and I are going to, where Old Dog New Flicks focuses on sort of one-off movies that, Moon and his wife, one or the other or both, haven't seen. Critical Misses is going to focus on longer series of things. Movies, comics, TV shows, anime, who knows what's going to be in the future. Starting this Tuesday, episode 0 will be available on the Patreon feed, patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers, as well as a public feed. If you're a patron at the $2 tier or higher, you'll get the episodes 2 months early, and every other week there will be a brand new episode. If you're on the public feed, 2 months from now will be Season 1, Episode 1. And Season 1 is going to cover the Fast Saga, because Moonpier has seen it a lot and loves it. I had only seen the first movie in theaters when it released. So
1996 or whatever that was.
Yeah, whatever. 1935. It has been, we just wrapped up episode 5 right now. And it has been a hell of a journey so far. Yeah, yes. It has been quite a journey so far. So I think season 1 is turning out really, really well. We'll do the entirety of season 1. We'll take a little bit of a break as we figure out what we'll do next, and then season 2 will come out after that. So look out for that. Episode 0 will be an introductory thing where we go through the history and kind of what we're covering first. That'll come out here today, May 5th, and patreon.com/E1M1 again. Become a patron, get all the stuff 2 months early, along with Old Dog New Flicks, Dynamic Soundtrack, the Uncensored Outtakes, like all the regular stuff is on there. Now we'll have another show that's it's definitely not a problem with making more content. Certainly not addicted to recording stuff and ranking them. Cough, cough.
I was going to say, the ranking is the part where things get really complicated for you.
Yeah, it's not
Boston
complicated. I just love it. Yeah. All right, so check out Critical Misses. Season 1, Episode 1 is available this Tuesday for patrons. Available June 5th for the public feed. With all of that out of the way, Moonpier, what have you been playing this past week?
Did you say June 5th, or did you actually mean July 5th there, by any chance?
July 5th. You're right. I'm sorry.
No worries. Just
time is a flat circle.
Yes, 100% it is.
Yeah.
I literally confused the day we record ODNF this week, so that was fun.
I saw your tweet where it's like, oh, I don't record ODNF today. It's like, that's live.
Mm-hmm.
You did that one.
Yep. It's like, okay,
Wow.
I'm confused and lost. But anyway, yes, video games. That's what the show is called.
That's right.
So we'll talk about that for a while instead of TV shows. Okay, real quick, knock 'em out the park things here. Boston, don't bother writing them down if you don't want to, as he gets his pen out, despite the fact that I just said
Always
you
have
don't
the pen.
need to write it down. Okay, Poi, our Game Club game last month. I went through it on New Game Plus. 3.5 hours, beat the game, got the thing, completed it, full achievements, uninstalled, tick that checkbox, done.
Nice.
Thank you, Poi. It was less annoying than I thought it would be, considering you have one heart the entire game.
That's what I was going to ask. It sounds like it wasn't nearly as hard as I think we expected.
No, it also helps because you know everything. The only difference is it flips, like horizontal wise. So whereas the very first level killed to the right as you went into it, it now kills to the left. It's literally
so
just
it's
a mirror image.
Mirror maps.
Yes.
All right, interesting.
And obviously one heart, which makes boss battles real fun.
Yeah, since they were not great to begin with.
So I avoided them all of them.
There you go.
The hardest thing in the game was the last puzzle level where you have to hit all those stupid gems with the lights
Yeah,
because you've got one heart.
and that level's long.
Yep. And then it was the Heroes of Fortress in the Sky level
Yep.
right after that. That was annoying too because you have to do like jumps over spikes and you've got the rotating platforms with the spikes that come out.
Right.
So that was annoying, but I got there. The last boss was fine. I didn't take any hits for him, obviously, because otherwise I wouldn't have beat him. But, you know, all done and dusted. Poi is done and uninstalled. Thank you, Poi. It's time to return to the classics because Moon did finish April, top of his gamer score leaderboard.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I cleared whoever was second by a good 1,500 points.
I like that you don't even remember their name.
Nope.
I'm leaving them in my dust. Whatever.
At the end of the day, if you're not first, you're last.
There you go.
Doesn't matter if you win by 1 gamer score or 1,000 gamer score. Winning is winning.
Right.
To quote a movie that we might be watching or / watched relatively soon.
Right.
So I finished off April and started May, and I need to get a good head start because unfortunately, while you smelly people are sitting at home playing video games all day long, I have to go to work. I can't sit there and grind away at these games and get all the achievements.
Right.
I need the easy ones. So I played ACA Neo Geo Sengoku 2.
Hey, there you go.
Which is a side-scrolling game. I did not know. These are the last 2 ACA games I actually have installed at the moment.
Oh, wow.
I have 3 installed. Had 3 installed. Sengoku 2 is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. It's not bad. It's not great, but you like transform into these weird people halfway through the level, and I don't know what's going on, but I beat the game. It doesn't matter. It's not too bad. It's not great. It's not terrible. Whatever. Beat that 1,000 game score, whatever. ACA Neo Geo King of Fighters 2.
Oh.
Yo, that's a beat 'em up from like 1994 or whatever it is.
It's a super classic beat 'em up.
Yeah, it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Like, real hard. It's 3-on-3 as well, which I wasn't expecting. And it's also split by nationalities. So it's hilarious seeing just how racist they get, accidentally
Right.
or on purpose, where it's like the American team is a boxer dude who has an eagle tattooed on his back, a young African-American gentleman who plays basketball, and a huge white dude who's clearly wearing football pads and can't do nothing. His kicks go like an inch. Like, he has no offensive moves at all. The
great.
English team is the female fighters team, and
Cool.
it's so terrible. But it does have... Oh, wish I could remember her name. Justice? Something like that? Fighter? I don't know. It's the famous King of Fighters characters with the short blonde hair, and she's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was in the English fighters team, but sure, why not?
Yeah.
It goes full on racist with the Asian teams. Thank you, drunken fighting and small freaks who have Freddy Krueger hands. Sure, why not?
Yeah. You would expect a Japanese development team to maybe not do that for their own countries.
Yeah, but they 100% did.
The 90s
For
were
all of
weird,
them.
man.
Yep. They really, really were. But it's not a bad game. It's not a great game. You can probably pick it up for like $2 if you're interested in that sweet, sweet 1G like I am. And when I say 1G, I'm talking about 1000G, not the 1G I'm going to talk about now, which is my next game, which is called Moving Out.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, my wonderful wife. Because 2 of essentially the same game came to Game Pass at the same time, or within 2 weeks of each other. And that is Totally Reliable Delivery Service, which is a great name.
Right. Yep.
And Moving Out, which are both physics-based moving simulators where you have to put stuff in a truck to move somebody out of their house.
Right.
So we thought, my wife checked them out and was like, oh, I'm checking out. Yeah, it says Xbox Live multiplayer on it. That's fine. So I'm going to make my husband download it, and I'm going to make my friend download it, and my other friend download it, and we're all going to play it, and then we're going to play it together. So we all played it. Maybe we have to go through the tutorial before we can get the multiplayer up and running. That's fine. Sure. Let's do the tutorial. Achievement unlocked. 1 gamer score.
You monsters. How dare you?
1 gamer score for unlocking the tutorial. Then we do some deeper digging. Yo, it's local multiplayer only. So, yeah. Now I have to play all of Moving Out. I'll probably play it with my wife, but it's one of those things. Like,
it's the principle of the thing.
Come on.
Is the 9 achievement like beat the game?
No, there is. I wish it was that simple, because Overcooked was like complete the first level, 1 gamer score. Get 3 stars on every level, like 119 gamer score.
Of course.
So, fine, whatever. Start it, beat it, fine.
Yeah.
This one, the next achievement that pops up in that idle screen that you have on the Xbox when you leave it like idle and it goes far achievement, rare achievement, near achievement. 111% completion gets you 111 gamer score, which means there is multiples. It doesn't just do 1 and 9.
Oh my God.
It does a whole bunch of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much.
There should be a warning on that.
There should be. The funny thing is, I'm pretty sure someone in the old X368 forums keeps a tab on every game with odd achievements, so you can actually just get one to round it back if you wanted to. But I know what's guilty in this case, so I'll have to beat the guilty party. Right. That sounded wrong, phrasing probably a little bit rough.
This audio clip right here, officer.
Yes, this is the one when I go for congressman is the one that's going to put me down.
That's right.
But it's fine. It's a physics-based moving game. I'll play it some more. I did a little bit of playing. It's okay. I imagine it's probably better multiplayer, but right now, when me, my wife, and our friends are home, we're only playing 1 game. And that 1 game is Apex Legends, because it's end of season time, which means it's time for the 100 mad dash.
It's time to push.
Yes. It's time to Usain Bolt this season pass. I'm level 78 now. I've still got a week to go. I'm level 78. I jumped from level 40 to level 78 in like 2.5 weeks. So there is hope for me yet.
Yeah.
Which means a lot more Apex. So I'll be talking a lot about Apex again for a while. A little bit. Apex is still great. If you see me on, feel free to send me a message. I'll happily play it. I played Dead by Friday. Rob, Justin joined in. And if you follow me on Twitter, you may have seen me post about me being a troll this week, which was, we were talking about local culinary delicacies, and Rochester has a garbage plate. Google it. It's delicious. It looks like a monstrosity. I think I've discussed it with you guys, with you, Boston, at least.
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic. Google it. So I had my wife join into the party to explain it to Rob and Justin, and our friend who we play Apex with joined in the party and then embarrassed herself by not checking who was in the party first, got a little bit bothered by herself and was silent for the longest time, and she refuses to play Dead by Daylight. I almost called it Dead by Friday, because it's a quote-unquote scary game.
Okay.
So the whole time she was in the party for like 10 minutes while we're talking about food, I literally spammed her with game invites.
Just come on in.
She doesn't have the game installed, so it was literally just links to the Microsoft Store. I think we may have persuaded her to download and give it a try.
Sure.
Because it's like, you don't have to play it by yourself.
Right.
Literally, we play it every Friday.
Right. And
Even then...
It's like I tell my kid, it's not scary, it's spooky.
Yes. It's more tense than anything else.
Right.
And honestly, it's been so long since I've heard somebody squeal while playing that game, I kind of miss it a little bit.
Right.
BTG Inferno, why haven't you joined? I miss your squealing. It was so entertaining. I am so numb to the terror of this game now. I need that Schadenfreude kind of make me feel scared by you squealing down my ear, please.
This is the second audio clip, officer. This moment right here.
Yeah, that's probably pretty bad. I miss it. Because I used to be like that. I used to be the person who's like, oh no, Michael's behind me, and then you run away.
Right. You're desensitized now.
Yeah, very rarely we will still have it where a really good killer will suddenly be on you and you don't realize it until it's too late.
Right.
But the problem is, and this is going to make me sound egotistical as hell, but I don't mean to. We're good enough now that doesn't get to us anymore because we are usually better than most of the killers out there.
Right.
Like, we just
put in the time.
They may get one, they may get two of us, but they won't get all of us, and if they do, kudos to you, you deserve it.
Right.
But I want that newbie. I want that new person. I want a Boston in this game where anytime the heartbeat happens, you're just going to go...
You're like an adrenaline junkie where it's like, is there a taller building I can parachute off of? What's the tallest building?
I miss the reactions.
Right.
And Inferno was great, but he's busy over Friday nights right now. So it's like, I'm missing out on a new person.
Yeah.
And I love Em, but she's a wuss who gets scared when somebody comes up behind her in Apex Legends.
Ah, okay.
So the reactions will be golden, shall we say, yes. When she's playing a game designed for this kind of thing.
You sound like Shang Tsung. It's just like, more souls, more suffering.
Your soul is mine.
Yeah.
Yes, I may have a problem. We'll see. Okay. But yes, Dead by Friday, it was fun. Even if it's not Friday and you still want to give it a shot and you're interested in learning and not in the quote-unquote high-pressure environment of a Dead by Friday, right. Which is the least high-pressure environment
ever. Your AAA league is running throughout the week.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to learn, just hit me up. We can talk through some things, explain how to play
Put you on the calendar.
Yeah, exactly. So let me schedule a little slot for you right here when I got the time.
That's right.
Hit me up. It's fine. We'll play it. My final game this week, and the most important game that was released this week, and I don't care that Yakuza Kiwami came out on Game Pass recently, or all of the other games that came out, because
that was last week.
Streets of Rage 4 came out on Game Pass.
Yeah, it did.
And Streets of Rage 4 is really good.
Streets of Rage 4 is dope. I was not... When they announced this, I was like, okay, you're making another Streets of Rage. This is... Yep. There's no chance this is going to be good. Hey, Streets of Rage 4 is stupid good.
Like, I literally, as soon as I heard it announced, I was like, I ain't watching a trailer. I ain't doing nothing. I'm going to wait until it comes out, and then I'll see how I feel. It came out to Game Pass. Thank you for that. That's a brand new game that I'm playing that came out to Game Pass. Everyone talks about Mark of the Ninja.
Yeah.
Which has that Clay style, and Clay made a name for themselves doing this. It has this incredible style with really tight controls, and it kind of did that 2D side-scrolling stealth thing fantastically well. Yeah. But the thing that everybody talked about with that game is how great it looked. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, Streets of Rage 4 is probably one of the best-looking games this year.
It's so good. And it manages to both look like brand new thing, but also manage to look genuinely like a direct sequel to Streets of Rage 3, which I know people listening are like, yeah, no kidding, it is. But like when it says stage 1 start, that font is right.
It's
like
the same font. The health bar is the right health bar.
Right, like the stars look right, the characters look right, but they're all
The stars
modern.
is a good example because the stars are very slightly pixelated. They could be crisp and perfectly clear, but they're very slightly pixelated, which brings that nostalgia thing back. And old Axel is the best. Like,
so
his
cool.
character design is amazing as this old dude who's just 2 days from retirement kind of thing.
Yep. The biggest, blondest beard.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. Like,
I've been playing as Blaze, and she's cool.
But not Axel that you know.
Right.
I'm going through an order. It's like I'm doing Axel, then I'm doing Blaze, then I'm doing Clarissa, and then the new guy, and the Metal Arms dude, and everything else.
Yeah, I picked Blaze because I always liked her in the previous ones. It's like I want to see how they have managed to modernize her, and the way they modernized her was, she can just air juggle.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing that,
just so you know, everyone can.
Yeah, that's awesome. The thing that is so interesting about Streets of Rage is Streets of Rage 4 is I think they could have just made another Streets of Rage 2 and 3, and Jimbo Jangles in chat says banging soundtrack 2, 100%. Soundtrack is incredible.
I don't know how they get the vibe from the old games and modernize it and put in new music and keep it all linked super well.
That's what you get when that dude continued to make music. Since Streets of Rage 3. It's like, come on in, like you made this music, like you just come in and make new stuff. I think the thing that is great is they modernized the fighting as well. Like it's still right to left arcade style. You clear a room, there's an arrow that says go, 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 and you go through a doorway and there's more.
Got the sound as well, the little blunk, blunk, blunk sound.
It's really good. But when you're comboing people, you can change directions. Like if an enemy is coming up from behind you, you're doing a couple of punches, you turn around, you do a kick to the person behind you to knock them down. You flip the other way without dropping your combo, do a couple more combos, uppercut them, and then turn around and grapple a guy to sort of suplex them, roll over them, and go into another combo. Like it feels very much like they took the 2D action game that the Streets of Rage series was known for and put a modern fighting game on top of it, and it feels so good. Like it just, you can finally do the combos and the fighting that you feel like you wanted to do in the old ones and make that happen.
Well, playing, especially I think it was Streets of Rage 2 was the first one where you could do it, but there was the old thing where you could grab your partner and then throw them, and then if they timed it right in the air, they could hit the kick button and do an air attack that was 3 times more damaging because they were thrown. Whereas in this, it feels like they opened up those windows because, when I was a kid and with that crappy Genesis controller, I could maybe do that 1 in 1,000 times. I'd be like, yeah, I landed the kick. Yeah, I've lost half my health 1,000,000 times because you just keep throwing me across the room, but I finally landed the kick. Whereas in this, even playing single player, it feels like those windows are so much wider, which allows so much more strategy. I love the fact that now when you do the little hop over somebody and you go, I immediately started smashing the A button just to do the old animation of going backwards and forwards over someone really quick. But now, if you double tap it, you hop and then you jump off the back of somebody and you get air to go and attack somebody who's on the other side of the screen. So you can jump while holding somebody. They get free, but then you're attacking somebody on the other side.
Which is cool.
Really helpful for those D-bags who just fly across the screen kicking you.
The Orange Cassidy guys with their hands in their pockets.
I would just like to share on the stream right now. Right here, it says, Dylan, enemy, is Orange Cassidy. Written the very first day I started playing the game.
There you go. I love that his name is Dylan.
The basic version of him, that's his name is Dylan.
The other thing that I think is super cool that I think makes the game flow so much better for me, and it was always a frustration in the original games, is when an enemy inevitably hits you and you fly up in the air and you normally land on your back, if you hit, I think it's the jump button, as you land, you just land on your feet. And it's that fighting game recovery feels so good because it's you might have knocked me down, but I have the timing down, so I'm going to come back and I'm going to beat the poops out of you.
Fun thing about that is that wasn't the old games. It was just the timing window was like a frame.
I had no idea.
It
Interesting.
was so hard to do.
Yeah.
But now, again, they've opened up that window and it's so much easier to do. And those stupid people who throw you, the green and yellow jacket guys with the green and red hair, you guys know who I'm talking about because everybody's played a Streets of Rage
Mohawk
game.
guys, yep.
Yeah, those ones who throw you, they do damage when you hit the floor. So if you've got that timing down right and you land on your knees, they can't hurt you by throwing you.
That's right.
It's fantastic.
You're too good. You're a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made it up to the final boss of the third stage, and I died. So here's the interesting thing about Streets of Rage.
Are we about to talk about the story mode versus the arcade mode?
Well, I haven't unlocked arcade mode yet because I haven't finished it, but there are lives in this because it's
Streets of Rage.
It's Streets of Rage. I think the fair thing they do is when you finish a level and you go to the next one, your lives all come back. So it's not just you have 3 lives go through the whole thing. And when I died at the end of stage 3, if I pick continue from my save game, I just start back at the beginning of stage 3. So that feels incredibly fair while still keeping a little bit of the difficulty of, like, you don't have infinite lives. Like, you have to play well, you have to do better.
This game feels harder than the old ones. And I think that's why it's harder, because it allows that continuation kind of thing. But 100% they throw so much more at you in different methods here. Like, I don't know if you've run into them yet, but the police guys with the tasers who do the grab.
So tough.
Like, it's as soon as I see one of them now, I'm like, I'm jumping, I'm kicking, I'm picking up your taser, and I'm tossing it at your face just so you can't use it.
And one of the interesting things about that level, the second level, the jailbreak one, is that when the inmates get released in the prison, the cops are fighting them and fighting you at the same time. So it's like 3 different factions of people just duking it out in the middle of the police station. It's really cool.
It's still so satisfying to grab somebody. I can't remember Blaze's throw, but Axel's throw is the exact same. Grabs them, you press it the other way and throw, and he literally just turns around and just tosses them across the screen all the way through. And it's just like this huge arc, and it's just like a bowling ball hitting everybody else.
She does her old school tumble, where like she tumbles with them and then like ejects them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Streets of Rage 4 is fantastic.
It's real.
It's so good.
Genuinely wasn't expecting it. I saw some people on Twitter be like, "Hey, Streets of Rage 4 is good," and I was like, "I mean, I'll download it on my Xbox and I'll play it." And I started playing. I was like, "Oh no, this is immediately really good." You have barrel chickens back, and you can change the barrel chickens and the barrel apples to other stuff, sort of Dead Cells style. You can change it to a giant bowl of salad if you want, which is really good.
This is some of the random achievements in this are fantastic as well. Like the very first time you pick up a healing item, you get Eat from the Floor achievement. Chef's Kiss. Like, it's really good. Stuff like that is fantastic. Oh, man. Have you caught a weapon out the air yet?
No, I don't think so. I didn't know you could do that.
So when you throw a weapon, it doesn't work with the knives because they vanish the second they hit somebody.
Yeah.
But if you throw like a steel bar, it'll hit them and it'll flip in the air and come back towards you. If you time it right and press B, he'll snatch it out the air and grab it in his hand again.
Oh, that's so cool.
And you get an achievement for doing it called like the Origin of Cool. And then you could throw it again and then catch it and then throw it again and then catch it. It's like...
This game is so good.
I've longed for a good 2D brawler beat 'em up. I've got like 5 or 6 indie games on my hard drive right now, which are all like odes to this kind of game.
Right.
I've just never found the time to go and play them. Like Coffee Crisis is one of them, and there's a whole bunch of other ones.
And Castle Crasher's a little bit different of a game. That's more like a 4-player
thing. And like going through this game, it's like the references they throw in. There's a boss. I think it's the boss of stage 4. Who, you know how the bosses, you get them down to half health and then they do something like they
another
get
move
tougher and they get an additional move. And this boss calls in reinforcements on the radio, and then a cop car pulls up and then starts firing rockets into the air, and you're just like, oh, great. Oh, it's being used against me and I love it so much, even though it hurts.
Did you destroy the car that crashes into the street in the first level?
I didn't. I know that there is an achievement.
There's an achievement called "Oh My Car," and it's like, oh, that's really good.
Yep. Like it feels like this is a game made by a team who adore Streets of Rage.
Well, it's .emu, which is a team that just loves these classic games, but knows how to modernize them in a way that feels and plays really well, but they're still really faithful to originals are.
Yeah, I went into this game expecting nothing. I was expecting, hopefully, a decent Streets of Rage game, and I've walked away from it with one of the best side-scrolling beat-em-ups I've played in years.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, you said you're up to, like, level 3. I'm up to, like, the last level, I'm pretty sure, because I'm going on the skyscraper, which should tell you everything you need to know if you've played any Streets of Rage game ever.
Yeah. And I was just looking up .emu's page here for their games. They've done a ton of porting work. They did the port for Neo Turf Masters, Windjammers. They did Windjammers 2 and Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap. So, like...
They get it.
Yeah, that makes these old games great, but they're not afraid to bring them forward and modernize them.
Yeah, but no, Streets of Rage is great. If you have
really
Game
good.
Pass, go give it a shot. It's simple enough to where anybody can enjoy it, and it's also complicated enough where the old Streets of Rage heads...
Yeah.
That sounds like a band name.
It's better than the Ragers.
Yes,
That's right.
They can really get into it and get that depth that, for me at least, eluded me when I was a child. Probably because I was like 6 when they came out.
Yep.
But, you know, I still have that reverence, that nostalgia, and they can't, like, let's just mention how glorious this thing looks.
It looks...
The foregrounds, the backgrounds, the characters, the animation, like...
super smooth.
Like, it's incredible. The detail they've put into everything is so great. Like, I was going through an office and there was a receptionist hiding behind a desk.
Yep.
And then the boxing kangaroo bartender is in one of these stages too.
That's great.
Because why not? Why not? Let's just throw it all in there.
Man. Yeah, it's on Game Pass right now for PC and Xbox. So
give it a shot.
It's great. It's really good.
Yeah, that's all I've been playing. Streets of Rage 4 rules.
All right, Nim, how about you?
All right, so I finally beat Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
And that was a journey.
So now you're going to hop over to the Torna DLC, right?
No, not yet. So,
take a little breather.
Yeah, so last time I met up with somebody who continued on the story plot the last time I talked about this game, and he was dropping all kinds of mad hints, and I finally connected a lot of the things that he said, and he linked a lot of things together between previous games.
Oh,
and
cool.
It starts to make sense.
Nice.
And that's awesome. Go take the elevator to go fight the final boss. This thing gives you like 15 different warnings that this is the point of no return. Save now, or else if you lose, you will just go to the title screen.
Thank you, JRPGs, for continuing to do that. I love it.
Exactly. Because there's been plenty of times where you just accidentally walk into an area. I'm like, oh, I guess this is it. It's do or die.
Early Final Fantasy games were particularly bad about that.
Oh, God, yeah. It's like, here's another random room. Whoops, nope, that's the final boss. Okay.
Yep.
Or even just simply exploring an area, and then you accidentally start the next event, and you've locked yourself out of the area that you were trying to check out. Yeah. So went through, fought the final boss. It only has one form. There's no Latin.
Whoa.
Everything
breaking
fine.
tradition.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't beat this game because that boss only had one form, and there was no Latin. That's blasphemy.
I'm sure there's a
JRPG
secret
name.
boss somewhere.
No, there's not. I mean, there's like a bunch of tougher enemies you can fight, which I did while I was grinding. But basically, you're fighting this thing, and it will move back and forth. And when it moves back, you can't attack it. But then a couple ads come in, you attack those, and then it'll come back, and you can start attacking it again. Had no issues with this boss.
Nice.
Which was kind of surprising because I was expecting it to be like any other game where all of a sudden, it's the final boss. Here's the difficulty spike that you've been waiting for 80 hours. And
your normal party members can't fight in the final battle. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah. So beat the boss. Whole bunch of story just opens up.
Oh, wow.
they just back to back to back to back, story drop, story drop, story drop. Someone nobly sacrifices themselves. Side note, that could have been totally easily avoided.
Of course.
But whatever. Story drop, story drop, story drop. You've beaten the game. World opens up. A lot of things happen. Good is bad. Up is down. Black is white. Credits.
And it's the old Shades of Grey play. I see how it is.
Yeah. So as I'm sitting there trying to wrap my... Because they literally dump like just a ton of crap at you, and then it just goes right into credits. And it's like, so I'm trying to wrap my mind around, okay, what just happened, what's going on, and what's going to happen. Credits finish, they drop 2 nuclear bombs of story plot, black screen.
Oh man.
And that was when I was like, no, that's the game I want to play now. Where's that game?
Yeah.
So I looked into the no, it's not. I looked into the DLC because I didn't read up on what any of it was. Looked up on it, and the DLC is actually a prequel to this game because there's a major war event that happens before this game happens, and that's what the DLC takes place during.
Oh, interesting.
Which is kind of weird, and it wasn't really anything that I really wanted to get into at that time. But I also unlocked New Game Plus, and there's a kitty. I unlocked New Game Plus, which actually opens up a ton of new stuff. There's 3 or 4 blades that I can get now that you couldn't get on the original run. You had to do it in New Game Plus. But the problem is that it resets. I mean, you keep the vast majority of everything. It just resets your fast travels, any missions that you've completed, and obviously the story.
That's not too bad.
No, except for the fact that this by itself is an 80-hour game. Right. So it took me an hour to get through the tutorial area so that I finally had my own blade. And at that point, I was like, I don't want to do this again.
But now the game's only 60 hours.
Yeah. I was going to say, that was something that I was telling myself too. Is like, on the plus side, I at least have all the field abilities that I need that I can just blow through the story mode if I want to.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem is getting to those points of blowing through to the end of the game so I can go back to doing the things that I wanted to do so that I can unlock the other things. It's like, man, just thinking about it didn't make me feel great. So
yeah.
Putting that game aside for now. But I mean, for all the gripes and complaints that I had with this game, it's like a weird, I liked it and I hated it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see a third game.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing a remake or a remaster of the first game, so I feel like that's kind of their natural next step to, here's Chronicles 3.
Well, and the remaster comes out at the end of May.
Yeah.
For the first game. For Xenoblades, not any of the other ones. But that was the thing that kind of threw me off because the character that you run into at the end of the game makes references to the first game.
Oh, okay.
But if you've never gotten far enough in the first game, you're not going to understand those references. And I haven't played the first game. Those came out in 2008?
It came out on the Wii, so like a long time ago.
Yeah. So I haven't played the first game since then, and the dude's saying stuff that's like just tickling the back of my brain, and I'm like, that sounds familiar.
Right.
And then all of a sudden everything just clicked at once. I'm like, oh, I know what's going on.
That's spoiler from Spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all cool. I'm good with that. If they do make a third one, they just need to really redefine and refine the game mechanics, because a lot of that stuff is just grindy BS that wasn't even fun to do.
Yeah.
Whatever. The next game I was playing, speaking of grindy BS, Octopath Travelers.
Oh, God.
So, I'm in Chapter 2 so the way this game breaks up is there's not a quote-unquote story chapters, it's character chapters.
Right.
So all 8 of your characters have a chapter 1 that you have to do, and then a chapter 2, 3, and I think it goes up to 4. But each character has their own chapter.
Yeah.
So, and you can pick and choose which character you want to go do and all that fun stuff. So I was the first chapter 2s that I was going to do was for the merchant and the scholar. The scholar is the main character that I picked.
Mm-hmm.
The merchant was the one that I just happened to be closest to, and they're both in the same town. The problem is that the mechanics in this system are a lot like Nocturne, where it's not an option to use the weakness or to break them.
Right.
You either do it or you're not winning a battle.
Yeah.
And this game, I was figuring it all out. The game literally cuts the damage that you do down to like thirds.
Yeah, it's a
you don't break them.
decrease.
Yeah. This one particular enemy I'm thinking of, without breaking their defense, I was doing like maybe 200 points of damage using the weakness. When I broke their armor, all of a sudden I'm doing like almost 2,000 damage.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's
I was
huge.
interested in this game until you started saying that stuff, and obviously Boston has expressed his dislike previously.
I get where they were going with Octopath Traveler. I think there are a lot of really good ideas there that I would like to see them try again with a second game. Or thankfully now they're going back to the Bravely Default series, which I think did all of that stuff better with a more interesting system. It's just the thing that bothered me. The thing that bummed me out about Octopath Traveler is it's such a cool idea that you have all of these 8 individual stories that are starting to kind of weave in and out of each other, and you have a job system that works fairly well that you can sort of mix and match with other people, and each character can wield multiple types of weapons, so you're more than likely able to cover every weakness that the enemy has.
Yeah.
It just all never came together for me in a way that really started clicking. It just...
Well...
Yeah.
Yeah, which I agree with all of that, because there are a lot of good elements. I just think they were executed poorly.
Yeah.
And the other biggest issue is that you are constantly underleveled. You constantly don't have any money. You can grind, but you grind for a long time. And it also does the stupid thing where it's like, hey, when you get a new character, they're not automatically leveled up to where you're at.
No.
They start at level 10.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they start at their like story level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... before I started doing the chapter 2s, I started grinding because I was having an issue with just the run-of-the-mill enemies that you come across on the world map.
Yep.
Not even doing the dungeon stuff. And the other crap thing that this game does that I hate is that it gives you you should be this level for this area, or this is like a level 17 danger area or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I've got level 32 characters that are having issues taking down this level 17 area.
Yeah.
And that's using the mechanics of the game.
Yeah.
Is it secretly like level 17 equals your entire party at level 32 divided by 17, so divided by 4 is...
Yeah, some
Probably
dumb
carry the
math
3.
Yeah. So I did a ton of grinding in this outskirts area. Went through, leveled up just about everybody except for one character because I was really done grinding. But I've got my 2 main characters, which is the Scholar and the Knight. They're at 35 right now. Everyone else is generally 25 except for the one character, which is like still level 15 because I just couldn't grind anymore. It's just not fun. But on the flip side of that, after I did the grinding, I was like, screw it. Let me go test out this dungeon and see what all I can do. Because while it's very mechanic heavy and while the mechanic does suck, if you can utilize it the way that it should be utilized, you can still do pretty well for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the merchant has an ability, or no, I think it's the scholar has the ability that can bring down your random encounter rate. And your merchant has an ability where it ups your escape rate. So if you do get into a battle, you just hit escape and you've got like an 85% chance of escaping or whatever. I haven't had it fail yet. But anyway, went through the dungeon, just walked through, didn't attack anything, opened up a bunch of chests, went to the boss, and I fought the boss in one first try.
Nice.
Now, I didn't go in there and sweep the floor with the boss.
Right.
I just had my party set up so that way I could just constantly stun lock them, because when you break their armor, they're stunned, they don't do anything for a turn or two.
Right.
And so I just constantly had it so that I had someone with enough I guess like action turn. They call it like BP in the game, but it's just basically you can boost them so that they do more than one attack per turn, and they earn a boost after every round. I had certain characters set up so that they had enough boost that when he came back up, I can just break his armor again and he couldn't do anything.
Right.
So I spammed him that way, beat him. I was like, all right, cool. Went and did the other story because it was right there in the town. Did the same thing, beat him. All right, cool.
Nice.
Went and did the dancer. Same thing. Beat them. Now I'm doing the knight. So far everything's going fine.
Yeah.
Then I looked at what the chapter 3 requirements were, and your characters have to be at least level 40 for the lowest one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, God.
And it's such a bummer because, like, I felt like with the Bravely Default games, built into the game, they had something that was really great where you could manage the encounter rate. So it's like, all right, I need to go to this area and I need to grind, and the enemies aren't that bad. So I'm going to, like, turn the battle speed up to ×3. I'm going to turn the encounter rate up to ×3. So I just, every step I get another enemy, and I can just sort of blow through and grind. Or if I'm just done with this dungeon and you need to leave and go back to town, turn the encounter rate off, wander your way back out of the dungeon, and you're totally scot-free. And it just...
Yeah.
Octopath Traveler could have been so cool, and it just misses the mark on so many things.
Well, and that was the other thing, too. I busted my Joy-Con grinding because I was doing tight little circles, and I saved my game, got out of it, got to the system menu, and all of a sudden, the selector just kept going down. No matter what I did, it would just keep going down. I'm like, oh, crap. So I had to go through and readjust. I had to basically... diagnose the analog stick, recalibrate it, and then recalibrate the actual controller, then shut the system off, then turn it back on, and then resync the controller to the system, and now it's working fine.
It's the old Mario Party flaw with controllers.
Yeah. Man.
But now that I'm in Chapter 2, though, I can also start picking up classes so I can do subclasses for my characters. Chapter 1's the hardest because... not all your characters have the weakness that you need for whatever. You always try to build your party around that weakness, but you can't always do that because it's varied by a lot. And depending on how many enemies they throw at you at once, depends on what weakness types they have. So you can't have everybody at once have the same weakness that you need.
Right.
Now in Chapter 2, I can start giving them subclasses. So like my knight could only use a polearm and a blade, a broadsword. I gave him the hunter class as a subclass, so now you can use a sword, a polearm, a bow, and an axe.
Oh, wow, nice.
That's everything except for dagger and staff.
Right.
So, I mean, my knight's got it all covered for the most part. So that's great. Side gripe about this, mostly for the internet. When someone tells you to look for a minimalistic icon of Stonehenge...
Okay.
Moon, what do you picture in your head right now, Moon?
Kind of like the pi symbol, but with a little, like, not a curl on the top. It's like an elongated T with an extra leg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, you guys agree.
Yeah.
That icon doesn't exist in this game.
Okay.
So I'm wandering around this map looking for these shrines so that I can pick up these subclasses so that I can put them on my characters, and I can't find what these people are talking about. The icon... I later found out as I was exploring, the icon looks like a menorah.
Significantly different.
For people who don't know what a menorah looks like, it is basically, all intents and purposes, a candlestick holder.
Right.
Looks nothing like Stonehenge.
No.
Don't know how these people figure this looks like Stonehenge. Dumbest thing.
Oh, God.
Wasted a lot of time looking for these shrines, looking for a Stonehenge that doesn't exist in this game. It was infuriating.
Those druids were deeply Jewish religious.
Right.
They can't help it.
I just feel like this is really a GameFAQs forum thing where it's like,
yes,
you found
it wasn't
the GameFAQs.
Just GameFAQs though. It was like everybody, Twitter, Reddit, GameFAQs, other game forums. Everyone kept referring to it as the Stonehenge icon.
Crazy.
I'm like, have you people never seen Stonehenge before? Anyway, so the next game that I played after that, I've been playing a lot of Code Vein. I'm still in the cathedral area. This is a white maze. which is really cool and kind of a pain at the same time. So basically...
Did you say white mage or white
maze? M-A-Z-E. Maze. It's really cool and kind of a pain to navigate because there's a lot of locked doors, a lot of areas with ladders, a lot of places for you to drop down, and it all looks the same. It's just a white marble area with walkways everywhere, turrets everywhere, random supports sticking out of places. So if you're not paying attention and you just look around, you don't know where you're at.
Oh, sure.
And it does have a map, but it's just a top-down view, so you don't have the 3D verticality of, oh yeah, I've been down here. At one point, you've been in that area. You just don't know if there was an up or a down, or if it was just that one section.
Yeah.
So I just kind of walked around a lot, beat up a lot of things. I found the second lost wave in this area, and that was a major pain in the butt because the waves in this one are just difficult for some reason. Don't know why, but everyone agrees that the 2 wave areas in this are just hard. And you can run away, but then they will follow you for a long period of time. And even if you climb up a ladder, they will just all of a sudden start to show up on your level wherever you're at.
Oh.
And I was trying to do this thing originally where I was just by a ladder and they just kept warping next to it, and I would just take them down because it would take a second for them to show up and then realize that I was there, and then I could just start attacking them. The bigger problem was that once a group showed up by the ladder, then the other groups that it would come along would start showing up behind you, next to you, to the side of you, and then you're just surrounded and you got things coming from all over the place.
Right.
I died like 4 or 5 times trying to clear this one freaking wave area. And finally I found like this little room that has one entry. And so I just holed up in there. They would come running in. I would take them out. Next wave would come running in. I would take them out, and finally managed to beat it for that.
Nice.
No reward whatsoever. I think I got a key to unlock a door.
Hooray!
That's all.
Exactly. I was like, oh, this sucks. But anyway, so I've explored most of the cathedral. I've got 3 doors right now that I can't open. 2 of them have angel wings on them, and they don't take keys, so I'm assuming there's something else that I have to do. And there's this one big area that I can't get into right now because there's some sort of force field thing around it. I don't know what's going on with it. I didn't really get a chance to look at it. Because then I found out that once you beat a boss in an area, you unlock side quests for that area. So you can pull up your map for that area and see these little blue people icons with exclamation points on them. All right, let's start doing that. So I went back to the very first area, cleared all that out, kept doing that with the other areas, did that, and then came back to the area that I'm at. So I just got to figure out how to get into this area to fight a boss, to open these doors.
Yeah.
And hopefully everything will be okay. The last mid-boss that I fought in this area, it put you in like this tiny little arena, and this guy that I fought was probably about like 15 feet tall and had this massive lance that it used, which from point to point, just holding it in the middle, that lance covers the whole arena you're in. So there was a lot of blocking and dodging, and it sucked.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So yeah, that's all. That game's coming along. I might have the cathedral beat the next time we talk, or I might just say, screw this game, I'm done. I don't know.
it'll finally, either you win or it'll finally break you.
Yeah, it's just patience and time, and I have a lot of patience, just not a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yep.
The last game that I played this week was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. My kids reminded me that we haven't played that in a long time. I was like, oh yeah, we really haven't, because I forget that we own it. So we popped that back into the Switch and sat down and played that, and that game has weird difficulty issues, at least in co-op. I don't know if it's the same in single player, but there's areas that we were going, like we finished the X-Men area, and we went through, I think we finished also the Realm of Chaos, because we got Doctor Strange, and I think that's the end of that area, but I'm not positive, because that's where we saved and quit. But the X-Men area in particular, there were fights that we were doing, which is normal enemies, that we were just getting our butts kicked.
Yeah.
And then we would finally get through that area, and we would get to the next fight arena, everything would be fine, no problem. And then you would get into the next wave area, and all of a sudden it's like all of us are dead except for my son who's playing Deadpool. So yeah, so I don't know if it's, and I'm playing with myself, my son, my daughter, my wife. Well, my whole family's not feeling well right now, but my wife, especially that day, wasn't feeling well. So it was just the three of us playing. And my daughter's she's pretty good at the game. She's not great, but she can hold her own. She's really taken a liking to Psylocke for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. Yeah. She's like, I like purple swords and butterflies. And I'm like, well, she doesn't have a butterfly right now, but she does have swords.
Right.
Whatever.
True.
I mean, it got her off of Spider-Gwen, who she kept complaining doesn't do enough damage. I'm like, well, that's because she's level 11 and the rest of us are 25, so...
Right. Sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
We get there eventually.
Yeah. So, we also found out, too, that you can do... They've got, like, a grid-based system, like a hex system that you can get upgrades from that, like, boost your attack and all that stuff. We had not put anything into that. I'd forgotten that was a thing because the only time I ever touch this game is when I'm with my kids and they just want to go on and beat stuff up. Right. So I haven't really had a chance to fully explore the menus. So I went in there, checked all that out, and was like, oh, well, I've got almost 1 million of these coins, and we've got like 700 of these other little fusion thingies that we need to start unlocking this hex grid. So I went through and completely cleared one hex grid and cleared half of the other, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 grids as well.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So I was like, all right, cool. This should make it a lot easier for us. This is maybe why all of a sudden the game was hard.
Right.
Going to the next boss fight, we're all wiped. Like, not even a freaking chance. It's just, we get in there and we're all just dead. And I'm like, screw this game.
I love Oh, this is the best. Oh,
so, yeah, we'll keep venturing forth in it, but it's like I just don't understand why this game all of a sudden just gets like stupid hard for no reason, and then all of a sudden it just seems stupid easy. And there was one boss fight that we did that you were meant to lose, which we didn't know that. Right. So we're sitting there like wasting our revives, trying to bring each other back up. We get this guy down to like half health, and he unlocks like this super combo move that just completely wipes us all. And at that point, I was getting mad.
Right.
And
gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, but I kept it all internal, and then cutscenes started playing, and then my son was like, "Oh, I think we were supposed to lose that." And in my mind, I'm thinking, "Yeah, we better should have."
Right. Stupid freaking fracking.
So yeah. The game looks great, though. Camera still sucks. And I think I figured out what the issue with the camera is, too. It looks like it's constantly trying to lock onto not necessarily your player one, but it's trying to lock onto one character.
Oh.
Which doesn't bode well for the other 3 characters that you're trying to play as.
You're off the screen. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and they just need to... if they want to do that, that's fine, but they just need to back that camera up. Like, several feet, and that would be fine, because there's plenty of times where one of us gets like knocked away. Well, the camera's trying to move with that person. Meanwhile, my son and daughter are over here, and they can't see what's going on, but we can see their health bars going down, and it's...
Jesus, take the wheel.
I love the Lego games, the way they solved that problem eventually. It took them 30 games, but they got there with the dynamic split screen that rotates depending on where
it's so good.
Are.
Well, and I don't remember this being an issue really in the other 2 Alliance games. So I don't. Maybe it was something to do with the Switch. Maybe there was an issue with, making it for the Switch. I don't know, but it's a fun game. Just I don't know what the hell's going on with it sometimes.
Yeah,
that's all I've been playing. What about you, Boston?
Gears Tactics came out this past week, which I have been very excited to play for a really long time. I downloaded it on my PC because, apologies for anyone listening last week, I thought it was coming out on PC and Xbox at the same time. It's not. It's PC only for some reason. I can't get that game to work. The tutorial mission, number one, it looks incredible, obviously, because it's a Gears thing. I really like they now have a gore and language filter option.
Spoiler alert, they have since like Gears 2.
I guess I didn't realize that.
Nope.
I'm glad they still have the gore and language option.
Good news, everybody.
Yeah. The gore one is especially great because it just means there's no blood, but you're still kind of like chainsawing people. Like a chainsaw goes through someone and then they just kind of fall over. They don't like fall in half or anything, but it's pretty funny. The language filter just replaces the swear words with radio static. So
that's pretty good.
It's really smart because you don't want to go and record two versions of the same line because that's just an incredible amount of work. But I like that option where it's just, oh, this is bull. It's just like, yeah, that's great. All right, I like it. The problem that I'm having,
you don't want it to be like early TV editing where it was like, oh, shut the front door.
Yeah, exactly. No. Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
I don't want these mother flipping snakes on my mother flipping plane.
That's right. Yeah. The problem that I'm having is I get through the first stage of the tutorial just fine. It's move to cover, shoot a grub, oh, I can't hit him, flank, then shoot the grub, that sort of thing. And you get to the second option, and that works on both either keyboard and mouse or controller. When I get to the second area, you're supposed to take cover and activate Overwatch. And Overwatch in this game is different than XCOM, because XCOM is just activate it, you stand there, you shoot stuff. Overwatch in this is a cone that you set in front of yourself, and
interesting.
Anything that moves in that cone for the ammo that you have left, you'll shoot. So kind of neat. I'm not sure how that's going to work because Overwatch in XCOM is maybe a little too strong. So
it's broken for a tactical game right. To have a...
Look, for the rest of the way that game is broken, Overwatch right. is fine.
That's true. So it's really interesting to see, maybe that will kind of rein in Overwatch's strength. But the problem that I keep running into, and I will probably have to uninstall and reinstall this game to see if I can get around it, is I get my character in a cover, and then if Overwatch works, I will activate it. The enemies take the turn. I shoot a bunch of enemies that are coming near me, and then the enemy activates Overwatch, and the guy you're with, the mustache guy that you're seeing in everything on the Xbox account, he starts saying like, hey, I can't move until you kill these enemies and destroy their, stop them from doing their Overwatch. That's where none of the controls work anymore. Like, I can't switch characters. I can't activate any abilities. I can't do anything. And Sid is yelling at me that your main character is Kate Diaz's dad, because it's a prequel game. So he's yelling like, hey man, you need to shut down this Overwatch. It's like, I can't, there's nothing I can do. I can't switch characters. I can't do anything. And I will retry that mission from the beginning. I'll get to that point and I will have the same issue. So
isn't this set during the Pendulum Wars?
I believe so. Yeah.
It's really bad that I know that name.
It takes place 2 hours before they use the Hammer of Dawn on that planet.
Okay, so yeah, Pendulum Wars, Hammer of Dawn, E-Day happens right afterwards.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Which all seems great, and it seems really interesting, and I like tactics games a lot, and I think mashing that together with Gears, and everybody has a ton of great stuff to say about it online. I just, for some reason, I have a bad luck with this game, and it just isn't functioning. So,
could this be another because Boston still owns a really old Xbox?
No, because it's on my PC. It's not on Xbox yet.
Oh, that's right. You did say that.
And that's why I disconnected my controller and I restarted the game to say maybe I'm having trouble with the controller support and just use keyboard and mouse, which functions great. And still the same thing. Can't switch characters. Can't do anything. So,
weird.
Unfortunately, didn't have enough time to investigate it to see what a potential solution is. But I'll be doing that this week because I really want to give it a shot because it seems like I love Gears and I love tactics. Mush them together and it seems like a great option.
It's just PC gremlins.
Yeah, God, probably. But I did spend, I didn't have a ton of time to play stuff this week, but when I did have time, I spent time playing a lot of 2 Point Hospital.
Oh yeah, I just got a patch on the Xbox version, so guess who's going to be playing that soon?
Yeah, not a huge patch, just like some freezing issues. But I am now on the 6th hospital.
Nice.
The first 2 are really tutorial hospitals, where it's like the first one is very small, get all your buildings, learn how to manage your staff and fix machines and stuff like that. The third one was a little bit tougher, mostly because you're getting more illnesses that need to be, like, for the pharmacy, instead of just one illness, you have 4 or 5. So for the psychiatrist, instead of having 2, you now have 4 or 5. So the stress on your hospital gets higher.
The escalation of sickness, if you will.
Well, and especially the psychiatrist one, because the first one you get is Mockstar, and it's the Freddie Mercury one.
It's so good.
It's really good. And then, like, one of the other later ones you get is the Saturday Night Fever one. So, and
With John Travolta.
Yep. And they're doing the dance. You have a bunch of mimes that cannot drop the mime act. So they have to go see the one of the best illnesses in this is a jest infection, and it's someone who thinks that they are. What's up?
Go ahead.
They think that they are permanently a clown. So you need a dehumidifier to. It's basically like a small version of the top that you like trick them into, and the whole thing falls, and it's just this series of horrible images swirling around them in like rain clouds on top of them, and then they come out as a normal person. It's just like and I got a chroma therapy room, which someone will come in complete black and white, and they undergo chroma therapy, and the color comes back to their life. It's just like...
Well, I'm glad their pun game is still on point.
It's really great. It's really great. There's bogwarts, there's monobrow, like there's a lot of...
Tell me Bogwarts is not a wizard-related one, please.
Maybe. it's really good. So the main problem that I was having is the 4th hospital is really hard. Because what they introduced in the 3rd hospital is the same thing that they had in Theme Hospital, which is staff training. And it's a little bit different this time, where every time a staff member levels up, they gain an additional star. And it's basically 1-star person is junior, 5-star person is like your head doctor, your head nurse, that sort of thing. Every time they level up, they get another training slot that's empty. You can send them off to a training room to get trained in something. So you can either specialize them or get them a little bit more well-rounded. The problem with the 4th hospital is it's a teaching hospital, so everybody you hire has 0 skills, and you have to train all of them. And boy, does that make it really hard. I successfully got through that, got all 3 stars on that. That was really tough. And I thought, all right, we'll go to the next hospital. That one is a fairly normal one, and there's a ton of room for you to build rooms. But every once in a while, it has earthquakes. And damages your machines. Debris is all over the place. People are getting hurt. So it's nice to see that they are doing the same thing that they were doing in Theme Hospital, where it's like we're building on top of the stuff you've already learned. We're adding some additional rooms, and we have sort of these small twists. Like one hospitals I was in got a lot of fractures because it was like near a ski lodge. But because it's also in the mountains, it's cold, so you have to put all these
the heaters everywhere.
Yeah, the heaters everywhere to make sure that everybody's warm enough and happy enough, but not too warm. So having a lot of fun. I This was a game that was very much made for me because of how much I liked Theme Hospital, but it still amazes me that it works as well as it does on controller, and there are no control issues that I have at all, which is pretty incredible. So
I think it tickles me is like, I love it when these indie devs come out with a game that they made previously under giant corporations that haven't been released in decades. They're like, yo, you closed it down and look at what we've just done, and hey, who needs the IP? We're just going to do it anyway.
Yeah, and like, it was smart of Sega to scoop it up. Also, when you put arcade machines in your hospital, they are Sega arcade machines, which is really great.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's nice to see that Sega scooped them up, and Two Point Hospital sold really well. And what I didn't realize, the console version has the expansions in it too, including the Game Pass version. So 2 Point Hospital is great. I can't say enough good things about it. I'm glad that I sort of got the itch to give it another shot, because it didn't grab me the first time, but it's really grabbing me this time. So, but that's all I've been playing. So let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of May 4th, 2020. John Wick Hex comes out on PS4. I believe this was out on everything else already.
I don't know about Xbox, but definitely on PC.
Oh, yeah. It came out on PC and maybe Switch. This is the John Wick prequel game that was made by the guy that made Thomas Was Alone.
Yes.
And he turned it into like a resource management game. So it seems pretty good. Speaking of pretty good games, Void Bastards comes out on Switch and PS4. I might double dip on this because I never played the DLC, and Void Bastards is real good. And I bet playing it on my PS4, since I have a Pro, will resolve the frame rate issues I had on my Xbox.
Yep.
My ailing Xbox.
Only have got a standard Xbox.
Yeah. A launch Xbox. It's even worse.
I have a launch Xbox too.
Right.
Granted, mine says Scorpio Edition on the front of it, but we won't talk about that.
That's a cool Xbox, yeah. And lastly, Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl comes out on PC, Switch, and the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Based off the title alone, I'm going to guess this is a side-scrolling Brutum up?
New genre here, folks.
Side-scrolling beat 'em up, and who needs one of those? Because Streets of Rage 4 exists.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing about this one is because it is coming out on the NES. It looks like an NES game and plays like that, and I'm not sure the Jay and Silent Bob part is a selling point as much as it would have been about 15 years ago, but a literal NES game is maybe also not the selling point either. So
nope. But no, you've got all those people who are picking up the retro consoles and the whatever the M4, whatever the MPG,
whatever that thing is. Yeah.
Well, Unlimited, I know about, I just don't know about.
Right. Well, Unlimited Run Games is putting it out on an NES cart, so like that's kind of cool. But beyond that, I'm not sure that it is that great. Something that I'm sure looks pretty great, Assassin's Creed Valhalla was announced this week.
So I did watch the trailer for this, contrary to what I normally do, which is just like, oh, a trailer came out, that's cool, I'll have to watch that and forget all about it.
Yeah. That's a cool trailer.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying the trailer and was sort of going along for the ride, and then when it looks like Eivor, the main character, looks like they're going to get killed, and then the hidden blade comes out, and it's like, yeah, that's still really cool.
Specifically for me, it's the hidden blade and then the little sly look at the leader of the British army. Yes. I was like, yeah, that's right. You just learned something new, punk.
Yeah, Yeah. So it's going to launch holiday 2020 on current and next-gen consoles, along with Stadia, and it will be an Epic Game Store and Uplay exclusive on PC, which isn't a super huge surprise. Male and female main characters again, both named Eivor for both of them. There are some customization options as well, like you can customize hair and tattoos and stuff like that, so they're sort of taking the next step on that. There also appears to be some sort of base building mechanic where you go out and raid and pillage for materials, bring them back, and kind of build up and fortify your base.
Oh, so they built an Assassin's Creed game for you.
100%. Yeah. We'll talk more. We'll talk a little bit more about our next look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla in our next news story. But I am ready for another Assassin's Creed game. Shocker. And
so am I, to be honest.
And I'm also really excited to pick this up on PS5 or Series X. I don't know which one yet. But I'm excited for, like, when Black Flag came out. And it's like, okay, cool. This is what next gen looks like. I'm really excited to pick up another AC next gen game.
Not one Syndicate, when the other one came out that everybody hates, Unity. That was next gen.
Yeah. I mean, Black Flag looked okay, but I felt like what really wowed me as someone who didn't play a lot of 3 was the ocean.
That water though.
Yeah, that water tech. That game was good. Yeah, but I'm excited to number 1, I'm excited to play a new Assassin's Creed game. Number 2, I'm excited to play it on whatever new console I buy it on. Number 3, I'm very interested to see where they're going to take the story from Odyssey and tie that into more things.
You know what I really want? Based off the trailer alone, I want the person in the cloak by the tree, who he refers to as Odin, to be Cassandra.
Yep, sold. That would be fantastic.
Because it doesn't show a gender, and it could be Cassandra, it could be the male guy, but she can live forever. We know this.
That's right.
So it would make sense if there was a secret hand twiddling the thumbs behind the assassins throughout the decades.
It's Lucy coming back. All right, next story here. Jeff Keighley announces Summer Games Fest. I guess he's not content with replacing one thing, but he's now going to replace E3 with an event that runs from May to August. And they're pitching it as a multi-month global festival built around breaking news, in-game events, and free playable content. They did this for like a week at the end of 2019, where it's like, here's this stuff on Steam. Here's like 8 early preview games that are all free and playable right now. So it seems like they're kind of taking that stuff and just extending it over a couple of months.
Honestly, it's a good idea because it takes E3, it spreads it out over a long time, and it gives every individual company that time to breathe in the news cycle.
Yep.
And not immediately get swept away.
Yep.
Because why do you think Nintendo always has the last thing that happens on E3 is Nintendo, and it's usually a Nintendo dropping and one more thing.
Yeah.
They usually do that because they want to, whoever walks away from E3 last generally steals the show most times.
Right. Yeah. They say that specific event details will be shared by each company over the coming weeks. So it's not specifically like, I'm Jeff Keighley presenting all of this stuff. It's, here's this stage that we're giving these publishers to kind of do their own thing. And all of the Summer Game Fest programming will be available to watch on Facebook, Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, and more. So kind of wherever you are, you're going to be able to watch this stuff. And that's the Phase 1 lineup. And they got some big people like Activision, Bethesda, Bungie, CD Projekt Red, like Sony, Microsoft, Square Enix.
This is actually very clever by Jeff. Because the thing with E3 is that, it's compressed into a weekend or a week or whatever, but that gives everybody the opportunity to shine under the leadership of the ESA. Now, the ESA may be a corporate global conglomerate who doesn't actually care about the end user, whatever. We're not going to get into that discussion.
You could call them a lot of things.
But the thing that this is, I just mentioned about spreading out E3 over a longer time, But the thing is without the ESA, 2K is not going to talk to Blizzard. Not after the whole Overwatch, whatever that other game was thing.
Oh,
EA
I forgot about that.
Isn't going to talk to Square. Activision isn't going to talk to Warner Brothers. So
or Blizzard.
Essentially now, he is essentially now a middleman scheduling out these companies' own stuff that they were going to put out anyway.
Right.
Probably a bit nervous. Probably, well, what if we release it on this day? Well, what if Warner Brothers drops the new Batman game on that same day?
Sure.
Then we get swamped away.
Yeah, someone steals our thunder.
So he's essentially put himself in the position as a power broker. Not in a nefarious way.
But that's a good way of putting it.
He can say, 2K is going this weekend. Okay, now I'm going to go talk to Riot and I'm going to talk to PlayStation. 2K taking this slot. Where do you want to go? You want to go here? You want to go there? Okay, you want to go there? Then
CD Projekt Red's doing it on that day. You can't do it during that. They've got a big thing.
Yeah, and do you really want to get in the way of, Cyberpunk 2077?
Right.
It's a very good move by him because it gives the best for the companies and probably also gives the best for us because we get to see everything.
And I think because of how long he's been in the industry and how many connections he has, I think
People trust him.
He has such a good reputation for both the viewers, us, and the companies. Where it's like we're not, all these companies have been part of the Game Awards for so many years. That stuff never leaks beforehand. So your stuff isn't going to leak for this 3-month period. And we get to build up this huge event that people are going to tune into. I don't know if it's daily or regularly or how it's going to go, but you'll get your own spotlight and we will present that. I think it's really smart.
Yeah, he is the announcement version of being a quote-unquote snitch and knowing the 2 reporters you want to go to if you have some insider knowledge on some bad practices. Right. You go to one of 2 reporters. If you have breaking news or an announcement to make, you go to Keeley.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really smart.
It would be nice to see this go year round too, like just once a month.
Almost like a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, it sounds like that may be what they're trying for. They're just testing this out, testing the waters right now. But yeah, it'd be great. It's like, oh, hey, one weekend a month, we're talking to Square Enix, and then we're talking to CD Projekt Red.
Sure,
and,
here's
whatever. And
6 companies' new things.
Yeah,
and
it's behind the scenes thing.
It's interesting because there was an interview with Keeley saying like, "Hey, is this a response to the COVID-19 pandemic?" And he said, "Not really. Like we were always planning on doing something, but because of E3 and GDC and all this stuff getting shifted, it made sense for us to kind of accelerate our plans and get something, even if it's not completely fully baked, get something out now to kind of show off these games and give it a stage and try and get this stuff out of there." So
yeah, I'm curious if this was going to be a 2021 thing he was lining up.
It sounded like
making those connections for next year.
Yeah, we'll work the whole year for
Yeah, and then E3 being questionable in January, the content of E3 being questionable.
Yeah.
And then E3 straight up being cancelled has just thought, you know what, let's just throw it out. Let's see what's
Let's just do something.
I like the Game Awards. The first 2 years of the Game Awards was a monstrosity nightmare of a show.
Real rough. Yeah. Next news story here. Microsoft to show off the first Series X gameplay this week. They're going to be doing it on the 7th. Reading between the lines between like this press release and some like Aaron Greenberg stuff on Twitter, sounds like this is probably going to be primarily focused on third-party stuff, and it seems like Microsoft's first-party teams will show stuff in summer. So this is kind of like, here's your first look at some of our partners' great games. Ubisoft has already come out and said that they will be showing a first gameplay trailer for Assassin's Creed Valhalla during it. So we should see the new gameplay this week.
Got them. Do we have any other confirmations, or are we in the mood for speculations?
That's the only confirmations I've seen so far.
So CD have got to show up.
Who?
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, I feel like they'll probably...
It's about time for another snippet of stuff from them, I think.
I feel like they might show a load time comparison between the Xbox One X and Series X versions of Cyberpunk, but probably not anything super major.
Mm-hmm.
I bet Rare will be there showing off their new...
They're first party though, aren't they? So
oh yeah, they are. Because I was thinking of that that Honey I Shrunk the Kids game that they're making, and I can never remember the name.
Is that Rare, or is that the same guys who made the Outer Wilds? I don't think that's Rare, dude.
Oh, yeah. Rare's making something else. Both of them are first party now.
So a first party game.
Yeah. We definitely won't see Halo because Microsoft will save that for like a Halo show of its own. Who else will?
Oh, you know who's going to show up, don't you? Just looking at the Summer Game Fest, you've got one partner who can show 5 different games who always get a big bump on the Microsoft stage, and I hate them for it. EA.
Yeah, that's
FIFA,
true.
Madden, NHL,
yeah,
basketball.
our next gen FIFA.
What's the new thing? It was Sweat, and then it was Closed Physics.
What's going to be the new thing?
It can't be Squeaky Shoes because that Rocket League nailed that years ago.
Yeah,
and crowds. They can put actual crowds in.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
that's a
thousands
good
of
call.
individual people
Who all sweat.
Your mom will be in the background of this game.
That's right.
Scan her photo in.
She's sweating in the background too. Everyone's sweating. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see because the stuff that they've been focusing on so far has been the resuming stuff, the upgrade system, the load speeds, the real fundamental stuff of the
this
console.
Specifically says gameplay though, which makes it
I think this is the other side of the coin where it's like, what the features are of the OS. Now we're going to show you the 4K 60 frames games. We're going to show this stuff. I hope that they show a little bit more stuff from the dashboard too. That would be my preference because the new dashboard looks really cool. But they'll probably just focus on trailers. So, and they might show more of that
on the system settings.
Yeah, they might show more of that. That next gen game they showed at the Game Awards, like Godfall, God something. That one that was like
PS5.
Yeah, I thought it was PS5 and Series X, but I don't remember. I know it's next gen only, so yeah, it'll be interesting. So I think that happens on Thursday, whatever the 7th is. So tune in for that. Probably just on Mixer.
Yep.
Last news story here. Ed McMillan launches his new card game Kickstarter for Tapeworm. It seems...
This is so gross and so cute at the same time.
Yeah, it seems very much like the opposite of the Isaac card game, which is like try and get 4 people together. It's going to be kind of this big thing. Seems very much like a starter game that works really well for 2 people, all the way up to 4 people. Has a much cuter art style, but still kind of
gross.
It's about tapeworms, so like it's still an Ed McMillan thing. And I feel like the prices feel a little bit more reasonable this time. I went in for the $25 tier, I think it was. That gets you like the pink foil box and the whole thing. So prices seem pretty good this time for a game that I will buy and probably never play. But that's okay because I want to support the guy. He's already made $500,000 off this Kickstarter anyway, so get on in.
Yeah, I give you my golden box along
I don't
with
think
all
you
the
can
extras
see it on
for like
stream. No, mine is sitting like just out of frame.
and all of the figures in the front as well. All of the gubbins for like the $200 edition of the Isaac card game. Still sealed.
Moon, if you and I meet in person at some point, I guess we know what we can play.
Yes.
Yeah. A little amount of questions. We're running a little long today, so we're just going to do one question here. T-Bomb Rocks asks us in Discord, what are some positive changes that have surprised you about the current generation of gaming?
Game Pass.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of...
I think that's the show stealer for this entire generation.
Yeah, and it's like the expectation that I have for Sony going forward is like, that's
you need
my
to fix your stuff.
Well, not that, but like that's my preferred platform, and I so far I expect PS5 to be my preferred platform. So like, if Streets of Rage 4 came out on Game Pass, I kind of wish I could play it on my PS4 in a similar situation, but that doesn't exist yet, and that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Nintendo not having it is not surprising at all.
Yes.
So that's not my expectation.
Nintendo, okay, for Nintendo, the biggest surprise and as a positive change is they have online functionality that seems to work okay.
Yeah, it functions.
We won't talk about the implications of Animal Crossing and everything else, where you have to wait 5 minutes every time someone joins and leaves.
Right.
We won't talk about the chat function that you need a phone for, which is its own communication device.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. God.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, I'm loving the digital respect now. Like, everyone seems to like digital. This generation alone, it feels like digital games went from an absolute laughingstock to the powerhouse of sales.
I think coupled in with that, I really like Microsoft making friends with everyone. Where it's like, hey, we're going to put Minecraft on the Switch. Why not? Like, we're going to put all of our stuff wherever we can, and we're going to enable crossplay, and we're gonna try and be as friendly to everyone, including gamers, as much as we can.
So does that mean the most positive change this generation is Phil Spencer?
Probably. Phil Spencer, MVP.
I still love the fact that he has a dad gaming day with like a bunch of people who he literally met over playing Xbox one day. That's great.
Just random people. It's not like, oh, I'm playing with the executive over at EA. It's just like, no, there's this guy from Missouri.
Yeah, and he's like an accountant. He's like, come over to E3, let's meet up. And
it's Bob from accounting. What's up?
Yeah. Do you ever wonder, did those people, like those group of dads who all play in the same group, do you think they realized who they were playing with?
Probably after a while, it was sort of like, it's like, oh, I got to go back to work. I work at Microsoft. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. It's like, no, like, I got to go to E3 tomorrow. And it's like, hi. That's the guy I play Battlefield with on stage. Spaghetti Jeff Firstman. Yeah. I think my only other thing, too, is I like the sharing features, which I really didn't think I would like originally, but even just being able to fire off a screenshot to Twitter and just say, like, look at this dumb thing, or like a 10-second video clip, and just be able to send it off to somewhere is really great.
My wife like does monthly compilations of all the stupid good moments in games that she's played. It's all done using the record that functionality. It's not like 2 hours of game and she snips out 2 sections and a complicated hookup. It's like snapshot that, take that clip, take this clip, take that clip. Right. It's a feature that I am not a huge fan of because I don't play it. I don't use it at all. But the Copilot functionality is probably one of my favorite features added this generation. Just from an accessibility standpoint, we'll talk about the adaptive controller in a different format. Like, that is something unto itself, like something amazing. But the Copilot functionality is incredible. The ability to, like, I think, is it Rami Ismail who streams PlayStation 4 games with his mother?
Yes.
While his mother is playing, and he's got essentially the PlayStation's equivalent of pass the controller, where she can say, this is too hard, you take over, and he just streams her video and plays the game for her. Yeah, and on the Xbox, you've got that whole functionality where you can have 2 controllers operate as one. Yeah. So
I always forget about that.
Really cool functionality.
Yeah.
I also like, too, the companion apps that you can download on Xbox. Mostly for me, because my idiot friends told me the wrong console to buy Call of Duty for. I can play on my PS4, turn on the Xbox console companion app on my PC, and talk to them through my PC on their Xbox Live.
Right. Yep.
And then another thing that doesn't really get used a whole lot, and PlayStation seems to forget that they have it, is the PS4 Remote Play.
Yes.
Where I turn on my PS4, open the app on my computer, and I'm playing PS4 games on it.
Yeah, I play
Xbox
PS4.
Does the same thing too.
Yeah, I play PS4 stuff on my phone every once in a while, especially visual novels or text-based games. Just like laying in bed playing stuff. I can sync my controller if I really want to. But yeah, that stuff. That's one thing that I hope that Sony can dedicate more people and console resources to on PS5. Like, I'd like that to be a smoother experience because it's kind of not that great on either console. Like, you can see that it's sort of version 1 of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a larger list than I was expecting. I thought we'd be like, oh, here's a new button on the controller, woo. But this has been a longer generation, and it has been pretty interesting. Much more interesting than I thought.
The thing I still love the most out of everything, though, is the competition is still strong.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's it pushes everybody. And it's something that the best CEOs will say, and it's something that Spencer said from the get-go, and it's one of the reasons I respect him. He's like, yeah, Sony knocked it out the park the start of this generation, and Xbox have clawed their way back, and they're pushing again, and it's two companies doing really well. Like,
yes,
say what you want about Xbox being the loser this generation, but it's getting closer and closer every single month. It catches up, and they just push each other to do more and more and more. Like, PlayStation Now probably would have been abandoned a long time ago if it wasn't for Game Pass. And Game Pass forced them to allow you to download games on PlayStation Now. It might not be the best. It might still run off PSN, but it's pushing each other to do different things and better things.
Yeah.
Well, you can even say that. Like, I would still say that Nintendo is still... It's still a trifecta of three companies battling, even though Nintendo swears up and down that they're off on their own little field doing their own little thing, and they don't care about anybody else. It still works for them, and they're still getting, like, you see almost every week ports coming from Xbox, PlayStation to the Switch.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still being surprised that, whoa, this actually runs really well on the Switch, even though it's the most underpowered console out of the three. And like
neither Microsoft or Sony has an Animal Crossing. It's like when a big Nintendo game comes out, especially when it's like the right place and the right time, it just wildfire. Like, my Twitter feed is still 50% Animal Crossing.
Dude, mine is like 75% Animal Crossing still.
Yeah.
Dude, Discord went buck wild about turnip sales, and I'm seeing like stat charts and
the stock market
and predictives and Nookazon, which is an Amazon for Animal Crossing that exists on the internet right now, and you pay in-game money to buy things.
I keep getting so close to buying Animal Crossing because people have been playing it and enjoying it for way longer than I would have expected. And I keep looking at it and be like, there has to be something there that I will enjoy. I know some of the early game stuff will be rough for me, but like, it has to be good. And I have other stuff I need to play. I can play other things.
This is my wife's first Animal Crossing, and she still plays it every single day.
Nice.
And when it came out, she wasn't turning on the Xbox.
Wow.
For like 2 weeks, she wasn't turning on the Xbox.
And I think that's part of what's so appealing to me about Animal Crossing is that the ritual of it. Like, I could play it every night before I go to bed.
Do your dailies?
Yeah, like do your dailies, like spend a little bit of time finishing up your day with Animal Crossing, and that seems really appealing. So
I really want to pick the game up for my daughter, but
yeah.
I'm currently playing the Switch, so
there you go. You'll have your turn next.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all of our questions. Thank you very much, everyone, for writing in. I think I just saw one coming across in Discord, so we'll save that one for next week. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everyone will find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. As we talked about at the top of the show, Critical Misses starts airing. Critical Misses Season 1 starts airing for patrons 2-month early access here at the $2 tier starting on Tuesday. Every other week, a brand new episode comes out as we work through the Fast Saga, which originally was going to be 10 movies, but now Fast 9 will have to be covered next calendar year, unfortunately. So patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbered there. You also get early access to Old Dog New Flicks. You get the Outcast, the uncensored chatting we do before we go live. That's exclusive over there. You get a whole bunch of other stuff.
It generally helps the show. Like if you're listening and you find you enjoy it, even if you've only got a couple of bucks to spare, especially now.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. In this current environment, if you can't afford it, that's fine.
100% understand.
Take care of yourself. Make sure you are fine. If you've got a couple of bucks rattling around in your pocket, throw it our way.
Yeah, the $5 a month tier is the one I really recommend. It's not per episode like some shows do, just $5 a month.
Literally everything.
Yeah, everything for $5 a month. Yeah,
and to be honest, it's mostly about covering the cost of the show,
especially hosting costs, which are expensive.
Yes,
Yeah.
And that helps Mr. Jobless over here 100%.
Wait, I have a job. It just doesn't pay anything.
Yes, your job is to be a dad, but he's got a job and he's got that job too. So what's your excuse?
I don't know. Patreon.com/ewan. Our game club game right now is Slayaway Camp. So we're playing that, and
we roguelike it is below. Oh boy, is it below.
Yeah, we're playing below for patrons right now. Vambrace Cold Soul should be wrapping up for the public feed this week, so we'll have a brand new ranking episode. If you're a patron, you already listened to that a couple weeks ago. I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
See, I was a train. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Moon, after we're done recording, remind me to talk to you about Game Club. I forgot to talk about it before the pre-show.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right, Nimp. No, it's still going on. It's fine. Nimp, hit me with your titles.
All right, I am confused and lost. It's less annoying than we thought. Beat that 1000 gamer score. Whatever. Small freaks with Freddy Krueger hands. I have to beat the guilty party.
Oh. Yep, that was one of them.
It's been a while since I heard someone squeal.
I would probably veto that, but it's real good.
Well, here's the next one. I want that noob. You were
Thank
on a
you for
tear
making
there for a
me
little
feel
bit, man.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The reactions will be golden. Yo, she can juggle air. Or, I'm sorry, yo, she can just air juggle.
Yeah.
Too good, you are a ghost. Barrel chickens are back.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the controls don't work. Brood 'em up. And chow, chow, chow.
All right, Moon, what do you have? Jimbo Jangles in chat says Origin of Cool. I've written that one down. Thank you, Jimbo.
Also true. I am an enabler. SOF4 is dope. I feel like it's good enough to be a show title. Also, it's true. Old Axel is the best. Thank you, Jimbo, for this one, which I'm sure gets vetoed for length. Thank my wife for moving out.
It's really good.
Yeah. That was a journey. Dropping mad hints. No Latin. Blasphemy on JRPGs. Broken, with the quotes. Escalation of sickness. Pun game is on point. Dat water dough. Everyone's sweating. And Mr. Jobless.
Everyone's sweating. I like that one too. All right, I have Brood 'em Up. I have to beat the guilty party. Origin of Cool. SOF4 is dope. No Latin, just because I like that sounds like an alternate universe, no Russian.
No Russian. Yep.
And everyone's sweating.
Oh, you know what? It's the guilty party one. I've passed it down to beat the guilty party, which I think is a snappier title.
Sure.
What was it?
I put a check mark next to Brood 'em Up because that's an easy, solid front runner.
What were your other ones?
I like No Latin.
I think I think the three to choose from here are Beat the Guilty Party, Brood 'em Up, and No Latin.
Yeah, I would agree.
I really like No Latin.
I do too.
I do too. I'd be happy with that being the title.
But I've got nothing to go for it right now.
No, me neither. I got nothing. I just think it's a sick title.
It is.
I want to make a church joke, but I really don't at the same time because I feel like that would be inappropriate and get deleted from the show for some reason.
One of you can do the Final Fantasy VII final boss music, and one of you can do the Final Fantasy VIII intro music.
You say that like I know them?
I did that the last time we did the Latin.
Oh, true.
The other Latin title.
Yeah, this is the other side of the coin of that one, where it's like, yeah, that's celebrating Latin. This one's locking it down. No Latin.
Okay,
Don't forget.
I got something.
Don't forget. No Latin.
It's terrible, but I've got something.
Hey, I like terrible as much as I love really good.
Yeah, we can go. I got nothing.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 654 from May 4th, 2020. No Latin.
It's a dead language.
And I guess it's not a true boss.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out here, chatting with us. To Hazard, Panda, and Mixer, I'm sorry that other dude was a total dick to you. I don't know what was going on. Sorry. Come back next week.
Yeah.
You're great. We'll see you all guys then. Bye.
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 And we can stop recording.